What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And welcome back to another Should You Pull video, where I give you my opinions for upcoming banners coming to the global version of the game. In today's video, we are going to take a look at Emperor's Lost Chapter banner, which will feature his brand new weapon, his LD weapon. And you can still get Kefka's burst weapon in this one, and the other characters that you can pick up their EX weapon includes Firion, and of course Emperor and Gilgamesh. Now before we do start, like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it does help this channel. Now without further ado, let's start this video. Alright guys, so before we start, there are no reworks when Emperor's Lost Chapter comes out. So let's take a look at his LD, which gives him the LD ability Hellish Gale. This will have two uses initially and will trigger the Thunder Crest, Beckoning Blast, and Dreary Cell traps if they are if the enemies are afflicted with these traps. This will then do an 8-hit AoE Magic Brave plus HP attack, and also increases the brave damage dealt when attacking a single target. Now, this is going to have a 180% max brave overflow limit, as well as a 50% splash damage to non-targets. This will grant him a new buff called Measure of Conquest to himself for 6 turns. Now this basically will raise his attack by 20%, initial brave by 80%, increasing the stolen brave overflow by 20%, as well as granting him a brave regen, which is going to be 40% of his initial brave. Now at 1 out of 3 limit break, this will permanently raise his attack by 20% and increasing the brave damage dealt by the LD ability. And while he has the Measure of Conquest buff active, he will have access to the Brave Attack plus 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 and the HP Attack plus plus plus. Now the Brave Attack plus 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 is going to be able to trigger the traps before the Brave attacks. So this is going to be a 3-hit Magic Brave attack. And the HP Attack plus 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 is going to do the same. However, it will be doing a 2-hit Magic Brave plus HP attack afterwards with 120% max Brave overflow limit, as well as increasing his Brave by 20% of the HP damage dealt. Now at 2 out of 3, again increasing his attack by 20% and increasing the duration of Measure of Conquest by additional 6 turns. Now at 3 out of 3, this will once again raise his attack by 20% and will give 1 extra use for his LD ability. Alright guys, I'm not going to be going through the Emperor's EX and EX Plus. Like I said, there's no reworks and I don't really plan to go over them because I have covered them previously, and you can probably check them out on an older video of mine in Emperor's event. So it's all in there, nothing's changed. So what I want to go through basically is just to summarize what the Emperor gets with his LD. Now, I do feel like the Emperor has been a pretty solid character ever since he was released. The main issue with him was he did have a problem with longevity because his HP attack plus was pretty generic. It was just a Magic Brave plus HP attack. It didn't do a lot of damage, so once you kind of run out of his abilities, even though his first ability count has a high count, it gets used up pretty quickly, especially if you want to do a ton of damage and triggering those traps. The main issue with the traps was they were all frame debuffs. That means he's not going to be able to play very well with other debuffers as well. So, and they run out pretty quickly. Now, to activate the traps, there are a few things that you can do. One is to just use the same ability designated to that particular trap. The second is to let the timer run out, and the third is to basically use his EX ability to trigger that and reapply those traps once again. His LD ability or buff basically fixes a lot of the issues. Now with his Brave Attack plus plus plus, you can it technically has a HP attack because it can trigger all those traps. if you just want them to be triggered and not wait after the enemy's turns. So for example, the enemy has 3 traps and you felt like it's their turn next, and you can trigger all 3 traps and basically can delay them by 1 turn. One of the traps can delay the enemies by 1 turn. So that is some ways you can trigger or use the Brave Attack plus and of course the HP Attack plus to your advantage. So I think it fixes a lot of the issues there, and of course this is a pretty powerful LD ability as well, with the increase of your attack, your initial brave, increase max brave overflow limit, and increasing and giving himself a brave regen, which I think he really needed, because chances are you would have been running Emperor with someone who's a very good brave battery with some brave regen previously, and that is because his abilities don't really hit too many times. His first ability hits for 4 hits, and his second ability hits for 4 hits, even though it's an AoE attack. But so that just means he's not capping his brave like some other characters will have multiple brave hits. So it really helps having that brave regen in that LD ability, or that buff, that new buff. So that's what I think of the Emperor. The LD really does fix a few things. Obviously I would have liked maybe if the LD reapplied some of the traps, not all of them, or maybe 1 or 2, or just extend the duration or something along those lines as well. But I think that would have been very, very powerful if he can trigger the traps and then extend the duration or something along those lines. So I'm pretty happy with actually what he got here. Alright guys, so we're finally at the end of this video. The final question remains, should you pull? Honestly, there's some people who might be pulling for this. I personally would have wanted to actually pull on this banner and actually tried to chase for his LD, but because of what happened with Kefka's banner, I'm probably gonna throw away a few tickets. I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna be doing here, but I still feel like I probably would throw a few tickets. So the thing is, he doesn't have his burst weapon featured on this banner, and we all know the main protagonist and antagonist will be getting their burst weapon. In fact, in the JP version, Emperor already has his burst weapon released. So in saying that, this can go in 2 ways for you. Whether one, you want to wait for his burst weapon because his LD weapon is also going to be featured on that banner, or you just get the LD now and probably chase for the burst later on. Personally, the most ideal way is to actually wait and just pull on the later banner, which will feature his burst weapon. However, the thing is, this is still a long ways away. We're looking at a probably couple of months or more. At least looking at it, we still have so the next burst is going to be Warrior of Light, and then it'll be Kuja, Lightning, and then we've got Sephiroth, then we got Cloud, then we got Furion, then we've got Ramza, Ultimisia, Onion Knight, looking at Paladin Cecil. So there's 10 more burst weapons coming out before Emperor's burst weapon is going to be featured, at least. So yeah, it's a long way away. This is sort of like the position where Ultimisia was in. Like with Ultimisia, like I said during her Should You Pull video, it's either you pull the LD now and then just chase for the burst later, or just wait for the burst and save your gems. So I personally pulled in Ultimisia. I got her LD. I was pretty lucky with that banner, I believe, if I remember correctly. So I was pretty happy with that, and I'll probably just chase our burst later down the track. So that is it, really. It's really going to be up to you guys. Now, again, the smartest way to do this is to just wait, since you will have a chance to get both his LD and burst later on. And he's not going to be broken anyway. He's not going to be a broken character, at least in my opinion. Unless, of course, you're still chasing for Kefka's burst. That's another reason why you could be pulling for this banner. But the smartest way is to wait. I would highly suggest, if you're going to pull on this, is just to use your tickets. You can probably use your gems, but I would highly avoid that, since the banner isn't that impressive anyway. I mean, Furion is just so-so right now, and of course, you guys know how I feel about Gilgamesh. He's a jack of all trades, but I just don't think he's that good, you know. So that is it for this video, guys. That's it for this video, guys. Please remember to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel, and I really do appreciate it. Also, follow me on Facebook and on Twitter at Munchkins Gaming. Leave down in the comments below if you're planning to pull or wait. Let me know down in the comments below. This is Munchkins logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next level.